I wanted to talk about some of the changes that I've seen in the farm and ranch contract and the unimproved land contract. So there's this section which you'll see here, and this is the unimproved contract in the number 7 property condition section E. Is going to have this part called the seller's disclosure. So the seller's disclosure is wrapped up in the contract. I can't say that I think this is a good idea. I think that it's not explicitly clear that the seller has completed this portion. And so therefore, should a legal dispute arise, I kind of question whether or not it could be argued that the seller did complete that portion. So although there is agreement there, anyway, and with both signatures, it could be okay, but I just want to kind of point that out, that it's a little confusing, but I'm not a lawyer, so there you go. So if we're talking about completing this portion, what we need to understand is that the seller does need to complete that portion. So if you're a listing agent, would be helpful if this page was included in your listing documents and having the sellers already initialed it, maybe even putting the date on there so that so that it's kind of clear that the seller initiated that at the very beginning of the listing, that y'all kind of discussed that portion of it. But then also, I would say if you're a buyer's agent, what you would want to do before submitting your offer is sending them this page only, sending this page to the listing agent and asking the seller to fill this out. I recently had an interaction about this section trying to write an offer for some land, and the listing agent was unaware that this was a part of the new contract changes, and also was having trouble getting their seller to complete it. They wanted us to complete it, and I was like, no, that's not how this works. The seller needs to fill it out, but I could see where that would lead to a lot of confusion because it is thrown into the offer contract, the contract that you submit as part of your offer. And so there is confusion here as to who should fill this out. And I mean, because it's just not explicit, honestly, I would probably write off to the side that the seller did complete this portion on such and such date. I just think this is really weird, but so be it. It is what it is. Just there are some ways to get around it, but that would be my suggestion. And I heard somebody else mention the same thing. So I think that really helped me clarify, because it did create some confusion, but I knew that my buyers were not responsible for completing this portion, and my buyers needed it completed by the seller if they wanted to place the offer. So we kind of put our foot down and said, it has to be this way because that's the way it is. So make sure that you're looking out for your clients, and the buyer should not complete that. And I don't think the buyer should sign the contract or even submit the offer until this is completed by the sellers.